Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Thursday, January 5th, 2017. In both the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, the authorized souls continue to be only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and we're trying to mix it up and label that also the cellular, molecular, atomic, and subatomic dimensions.
That's true.
In this current era, there is a barrage of misdirection that purports to be guidance, but that ignores obvious, crucial, relevant facts.
That's true.
What now, in order to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do? What now? My attention is immediately brought back to the Karmic Records and how flawed they are.
That's true.
And that this is crucial, this work to improve the accuracy of the Karmic Records, not just on our own behalf, of course, that would be revolting, but on behalf of all aspects of presence.
That's true.
To improve the Karmic Records. And what do we know? We know that all of us, in universal in the largest sense of the meaning of that word, universal, far beyond one universe.
That's true.
All of us in all the dimensions through which we have been working in all these past many years, have this pattern. It is a universal pattern. When we don't acknowledge our errors, we suppress them into deeper aspects of ourselves, into our cells, our molecules, our atoms, our protons, neutrons, electrons, and our smaller subatomic particles like quarks.
That's true.
That is what we do with our errors when we don't acknowledge them. And sentiences are error-making machines. We're just all messing up in almost a continual stream, as the guidance counselor used to say to Asha. The only question is, are we wrong again, or are we still wrong? Has there ever been a moment when we weren't incorrect, when we weren't messing up? And that's how it is for all of us, and that's okay. Nobody is judged harshly for the error itself, or that's how it actually should be.
That's true.
We're coming to see that the Karmic Records are not properly maintained.
That's true.
But the teachings for many, 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 many years through the most top quality channels of which we have awareness have been that nobody cares about errors. What matters is that we acknowledge them, clean them up, make it right.
Yes, that's true.
And when we suppress them instead of acknowledging the errors, cleaning them up, and making it right, then we're dumping our bad karma on our smaller selves.
That's
and that this is, we're all doing this, and to not say, oh, I'm not doing it. We're all doing this. Me too, insert mirror here.
That's true.
So now, right now, each of us for ourselves, we can smooth up and out the errors in the Karmic Records due to our own errors being misattributed to smaller aspects of self.
That feels really good.
It feels awesome. And to continue this up through the crown, through the first sky chakra, through the second sky chakra, through the third sky chakra, and on up through the sky chakra chain, but at least to the sixth sky chakra.
That's true.
Somebody says, why to the sixth? That's a good question. Let's ask up, why to the sixth? Because after that, people tend to be blaming other presences. That's what that voice way up high says.
True.
Interesting. Okay. All right, so we can clear it up through the sixth. He's talking about souls, and he's talking about how souls seem to want to pin the tail on another donkey, not wanting to pin the tail of error on their own backside.
That's true.
And they're either looking to blame their smaller selves, quote, the body made me do it, unquote, it was the cells, it was the molecules, it was the atoms that made me do it, quote unquote, or they're blaming presences possibly around them in their same dimension, looking for someone to blame rather than just accepting responsibility and saying, oh gracious, I did it again.
I did that again.
When I ask what now, the present says, well, quite obviously continue clearing up the Karmic Records.
That feels really good.
It does. Try to find the errors that we ourselves have made, and there's always an aspect of presence who is me.
Yes.
And whoever that is, not getting weird about the labels, define
Yes.
the errors that I have made, and draw them up from my smaller, deeper, denser subatomic selves. And from my atomic selves and molecular selves and cellular selves.
That's true.
And handing them on up. And now I feel like it's like evacuating the dead children from the smaller subatomic. It's like we're creating an opening through which they can move to get closer to a consistent source of truth, integrity, and inspiration.
Oh, that's true.
Which is the most precise definition of divinity we have as yet been able to come up with. Well, that's actually wrong. Consistent source of higher vibrations, of significantly higher vibrations, is more precisely accurate.
That's true.
But it has been hijacked. That phrase has been hijacked, so we have to come at it a different way, using a phrase that is not as accurate.
That's true.
It's all right. We're mixing it up. We're not going to get hung up on what we can't do. We do what we can do. Keep a good attitude and work hard. It matters a lot.
That's true.
We can smooth up, correct the karmic errors of misattributing our own bad attitudes to someone else. Our attitudes are our responsibility. All of us. Me too, insert mirror here. So what now? In order to correct the errors in the karmic records involving the nature realms. And again, my attention is brought to those wild lies of sharks crawling over the ground on their fins and jumping into people's swimming pools to attack them, and therefore we must kill the sharks.
Yeah.
And other equally absurd lies.
That's true.
That are being used to justify what seems to be a declaration of war on the nature realms.
That's true.
But now,
I feel big, huge lies.
Yes. So let's work them up.
I'm being shown that blobby pile of wishful thinking down low in the pillar where the nature realms presences are.
Mm-hmm.
How it looks like yeast spread rising, and it's puffy and thick. And smells not right.
I think that these nature realms presences are supposed to be eating the lies.
Yes,
I think they're supposed to be like the composting grubs. Eat the lies.
Yes, that's true.
Friends, surely there's plenty of lies around you to eat. We can smell them. We can see the lies.
That's true.
Eating lies. Is there anybody who finds a lie tasty? It's kind of like when we talk to the nature realms presences about eating the Brazilian pepper berries. They say nobody's ever tried it.
That's true.
Are you willing to try? Just taste it. I think that's what you guys are supposed to do. This puffy, wishful thinking melange of nature realms presences. Nobody's going to solve this problem for you but you. That's how it is for each of us. We've got to help ourselves, and not only help ourselves but turn around and help somebody. And this really serious infestation of thinking of my problems are the worst, quote unquote, it's just not true. There's always someone who's suffering more deeply, and all we have to do is look down into our denser, deeper selves, our smaller subatomic selves, and right there, boom, it's on the table. They've got it so much worse.
That's true.
Turn around and help somebody. We can all do it. Come on, let's clean up the karmic records for our smaller selves. Our own smaller selves. Which means acknowledging our own crazy errors and then suppression of the error.
True.
And we can have a sense of humor about our errors because they're actually very entertaining. When we look at the crazy things that sentiences do, it's funny. Just not get weird about it.
That's true.
That's the trick. To keep a good attitude. Good attitude. Our attitudes are the only thing we actually have control over. Let's once more work up the errors having to do with misattributions of attitudes.
Oh, there are a lot of them.
There's so many. I see that Isis way up high. She just barely has the first glimmerings of a past life memory.
That's true.
I think that to the Ras who are waiting for Isis to say, oh, something pointed to them, it isn't going to happen. She's just starting to wake up. She's just starting to realize that name has significance.
That's true.
Somebody's saying to the Ras, you could go up where Isis is, and he's saying she won't, it'll hurt. She won't recognize me. She won't see me as important.
That's true.
Well, how do you know?
How do you know?
How do you know? What? Isn't it worth an experiment? Did he leave?
He might have gone away.
But he could have gone up. He could have gone up to Isis.
Maybe.
I see a tiny, tiny little person talking to her.
I see a tiny person talking to her.
Okay. Just keep at it. Try it when she's asleep. It works better.
That's true.
He's afraid he's going to discover that he wasn't as significant to Isis as Isis was to him.
That is what he's afraid of. That's true.
I don't actually know.
I don't know.
I think that he was important to her.
I do. I do.
Wow, I feel a big updraft, as if a lot of people have curiosity.
That's true.
They actually don't know. Nobody seems to know. They would like to know.
That's true.
Big curiosity.
Much curiosity.
But now, in order to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, what now? Do you hear any response to the big question?
No.
All right, I was just checking.
Just that feeling of people backing away from microphones.
Right. And then lurching forward as soon as a tiny little life detail is on the table and shouting a torrent of conflicting instructions.
Yes, with a lot of excitement.
With a lot of excitement, but what works in those moments is to say, okay, well, how to deal with this immediate situation in such a way as to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do. I feel like I'm being pulled up by my head.
That's true. By the top of the head.
Feels good.
Correcting the errors for the year of 2017. Start to finish. Correcting the errors for the decade of the 2010s, including the emissions for today, Thursday, start to finish. Including the emissions for the week that ends this coming Saturday at midnight. There you go. Including the emissions in the month of January, start to finish. Including the emissions for the listing period that's now supposed to end on March 15th.